Welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I have 5 beautiful floral fall DIYs for you. It is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge, which I will explain a little bit more about as we get into the video. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing and becoming my crafting BFF. If you do like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up, but let's go make some DIYs. For this project, I decided to go really simple with this. This all is Dollar Tree products that I'm using here. I got these beautiful window clings. There's a sheet on each side here, so you have like front and back of window clings. And this darling little sign. If you see these signs, pick them up. They are so easy to work with, and you can see they have just little tabs in the back to take that piece out. Now, for the sake of just having a simple project, I just flipped that sign over and painted the back side of it. If I decide to put something on the other side of it, then I will definitely do that, but just keep that in mind that it was so simple and easy just to pop that out and be able to paint that. Now there's this darling pumpkin patch window cling here. It fit perfectly on the sign. There actually was a few of these that fit really cute, so it's just a matter of personal preference. I thought the word on this, the pumpkin patch, I thought it was just a nice, simple, clean look to it. And so I'm going to add some florals to this, and so I just wanted to have a simple looking sign. Now I'm using my trusty purple school glue stick here. I love this stuff. And it works so good with these window clings to have it adhere to the sign backing that we have. So I'm just making sure that I get a good layer of that glue on there. And then this is almost like magic. It was so cool watching this with this clear window cling, because as you start to push it down, now this dries clear anyways, but as I was rubbing it down, you can tell that it's getting that bond there and clinging exactly to that background there with that glue. So I love to see that because it just kind of vanished right before your eyes. You don't normally get to see that because you're usually doing it on paper. And then I do pull out my brayer and go over. I'm just making sure there's no bubbles, no bumps, anything like that. And then I really was just fascinated in watching that glue completely disappear. So here I just take my brayer, I go up and down and then side to side. And then to have an extra layer here to make sure that everything is going to stay put, I just do some matte Mod Podge and I just do a light layer over this, but I'm careful to go over the entire surface of the sign. That way it will have the same sheen to it. So if the light hits it, you're not going to be only seeing it on just like the window cling. And then I just popped it back into this sign. Now this is absolutely darling the way that it is, but I wanted to add some florals to it and give it a little bit of embellishment. So I'm just taking some Dollar Tree leaves that I have here and I just cut a couple pieces off. Now this is one of my favorite hacks to do with Dollar Tree leaves because they always seem to be so wrinkly, is you can just blast them with your heat tool. I just lay them flat and I just blast it for a couple seconds. These do have like the plastic veining on them, so they can melt, so just be cautious of that. But it's just a couple seconds and they flatten right out. I love this hack and I use that all the time. So now I'm just going to layer these leaves here, just kind of do the different colors and have them stacked one on top of the other. I do 3 leaves and then I do a little pumpkin here. And this pumpkin came in a set of like 5 or 6, and I just took the little stick off of it, or the little twist tie like thing there, and then I just end up gluing all of these to the corner of the sign. And I think this turns out so simple. It was such an easy project and I think it has a very high impact, especially for how simple it was. What do you guys think of this sign? Is this something that you would use in your fall decor? As I mentioned in my intro, this video is part of the 5 Under 5 DIY challenge. Every month I get together with my good friend Missy at the Crafty Cove and we host this challenge. We always invite a guest host, and we have a special guest host this month, Linda from Faith Chick 777 DIY by Design. I am so excited that she is guest hosting with us today. She has such an amazing channel and you guys are definitely going to love her DIYs. So let me explain really quick what the 5 Under 5 5 is, if you're new here, each month we pick a new theme that we do. This month's theme is fall florals. So everybody's DIY is going to have some type of fall foliage or florals or something in them somehow. And everybody gets to interpret it in their own way. There's going to be a link to a playlist down in my description box or pinned in my comments. You can click on that. It's going to take you right over. It's going to play everybody's video. We have dozens of participants each month that will participate in this challenge, and they all come with 5 DIYs that cost $5 or less, and they are absolutely amazing. So make sure to check out that link down in my description box. Let's get right back into the DIYs. I made a DIY very similar to this for springtime, and it was very popular, and I thought it would be so fun to try and do a fall version of it. So I'm just using this pail from Dollar Tree, and you can see I'm just taking one of the blocks of styrofoam that also came from Dollar Tree, and I just kind of cut it into pieces and haphazardly stuck it together, almost like a game of Tetris, just trying to get all of those pieces in there. You just want a flat surface with whatever you decide to use. It can be a bucket, a pail, a soup can, anything that you decide you want to use is going to work for your base, but you just want that flat surface with the styrofoam. Now I'm just taking some Spanish moss and I'm just trying to decide how much I want, and then I'm just using some hot glue. You can see I'm putting quite a liberal amount there all over that styrofoam, and then I will place all of this Spanish moss. I'll just press that down into, you can kind of see. Now be careful, because the Spanish moss, that hot glue can seep through that, so you can potentially burn yourself. So just be really careful when you're doing this, that you're aware of that. So if you start to feel that heat, then you can just lift your hand away, or better yet, just wear some finger protectors so that way you're not, you've got a barrier between your hands and the glue. Now I'm going around on all the edges just to make sure this is glued down very well. And then I'm just using some fencing wire here. So any type of stronger wire that you still can bend, but you want it to be sturdy, almost like a little bit thinner than a coat hanger, I guess. And I just bent that into some hooks, and I'm just going to push that down on this little wreath. Now this wreath came from Hobby Lobby in a pack of 2. I'm sure you can find them in any craft store. I'd already used one, so this was just sitting in my stash. And this is just to show you kind of what the wire looks like there. So I think I end up doing 3 hooks here. You can see I'm just using some wire snippers. I bought those at Lowe's. I get comments about those all the time, and they are wonderful, but any home improvement store is going to have those for you. Now once I get all of that wire placed down on this wreath, I do take a little bit of hot glue down there just to help give it a little bit of security, so that way it just kind of stays. It's not going to wobble back and forth. Now I just picked a little pick of florals from Dollar Tree here that has like the cute little pumpkin there, it has some little berries, and then these fall leaves. And then I do end up just reaching into my stash to grab a couple other florals. At the end you'll kind of see what I do, but it's not, I mean, just however you want to do it. I always say when I do florals like this that I am not a florist. I am not trained. I just do what feels good to me, what looks good to me as I'm doing it. You can make it asymmetrical, completely symmetrical. You can make it however you want. There's no truly wrong way to do this, in my opinion, because if it's going to go into your home, you're going to make it what you want it to be. And then you can see I'm just blasting these with some heat. This is just going to straighten out all of these leaves, so that way they're going to look nice and not wrinkled, which Dollar Tree florals have a tendency to be very wrinkled at times. And then you can just see how I'm stuffing these in here. They go right down into the styrofoam. You could use a little touch of glue if you want to have more of a permanent hold on these, or if this was something that you were going to sell, you would maybe put some glue on the stems before you stick it into the styrofoam. That way nothing's going to come out. Now I love to be able to reuse things or change things up for different seasons, and so I'm not putting glue on mine just for that reason there. So I reached into my stash to grab that little white pumpkin. I thought the contrast was really cute with that, and then I bought a pack of like 6 of these little orange pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I just thought the 3 little pumpkins there looked so cute, and that really just kind of hits home that it's fall, even with all of this fall foliage and everything with this wreath. It just looks so perfect. Those pumpkins just really add the perfect touch in my opinion. Now I'm trimming off the excess of this Spanish moss so that way I'm not like shaggy all over the edges. It's just a matter of a personal preference there, whatever you like. Now I did take a little bit of burnt umber and I'm just going lightly with a paintbrush around the bottom, and then there's a seam on the pail and I just do that to give it a little bit of a rusted look, kind of a little bit aged. I don't do too much on the pail, just a little bit. Now my project would have looked just fine the way that it was, but I did have a couple of little scraps that I used in another project, some florals, and so I thought I would just take a couple leaves off of them to add a little bit more height to it, and I glued a little bit of orange florals around the wreath there like it was growing up over there. I love how this turns out. It's kind of giving strong cornucopia vibes almost to me, but I just think it's beautiful, and I think this is something that you can start fall with, and you can even have it last all the way through Thanksgiving if you keep decorations up that long. What do you guys think of this one? This project was inspired by one that I found on Kirkland's website, and I think it turns out really cute for a lot less money. Now you can use all Dollar Tree products if you would like to. I'm just showing you the Dollar Tree lamb's ear right there that would look so cute, but I did have a couple of these left over from a bundle that I bought at Walmart, and I do like the more gray green color that comes on those. Plus I had enough of these to be able to make a little wreath, and so that's why I decided to go with these over Dollar Trees. But if I had had two of Dollar Trees, I probably would have used those, and so on and so on. But this is what I'm doing here. So all I'm doing is just bending these into like a circle here, and then I am just going to zip tie both of them together to create a little lamb's ear wreath. Now you may already have, you can see the zip tie there, you may already have a lamb's ear wreath at your home that you could use, or you could pick one up at the craft store, but I did not have one, and I thought this would be a good economical way to make one. Now these little windows that come from Dollar Tree, they're darling, but they have these little galvanized metal things on the bottom of them, and I didn't love it, so I was trying to remove it as best I could without damaging the window, and it really just doesn't look the greatest. So this whole time I'm sitting here trying to think of what I'm gonna do to cover that area with. Now you can just see once I have that little wreath made, I'm just going to use some zip ties to zip tie this through those little cutouts on the window there, and that's how I get that wreath to stay put. Now you of course could use glue if you wanted to. I just picked these zip ties up at Dollar Tree. They're in like the automotive section, so check there if you're wanting to grab some, and they come in all different sizes and colors and things like that. And then I'm just taking a few little florals and some pumpkins, and I'm just going to glue them around the wreath. This is just going to give it that fall vibe that I'm going for. And then I have this nativity that I found this going through all of my stash here, and the little base piece of it that you would slide all of the little laser cut pieces into was the perfect size to go on the bottom of this window, and it covered up that little glued area that I kind of tore up when I removed it. Now here I'm just showing you that I did remove the zip ties from the back because I know someone will ask if I did. So I'm just showing you that I did. And then this is a stencil that also came from Dollar Tree this year. Their stencils for fall are darling, and they come with 2 stencils in a package. So make sure when you're looking at those, you flip it over and see that there's a design on the back as well. And this one just says, it says hello fall, but I don't have room for the hello, but the fall is absolutely darling because that A is a little maple leaf. And so I thought that would be super cute to put on this project. So I'm just doing some brown for the letters, the F and the 2 L's, and I'll go back in with some orange and do that on the cute little leaf there. And when I lift that up, you can see how cute that is. But it does look a little plain to me on the sides, so I just go in with a couple extra little leaves, and I do that on both ends. So you'll have to let me know what you think once I get done with that, but I think it looks really cute. Now what I do is I take my emery board. I love to use an emery board to do some filing, and I'm just filing the edges to give it a kind of rustic look. And I do go over the top of this. This is just a matter of personal preference. So if you're wanting to have a more worn look, like this has set out for a while or it is aged, this is something that you can do, is just lightly sand over the letters that you've painted on there with the stencil, and it will kind of fade them a little bit. But I think this window hanging is so cute. I love how this turns out, the little pumpkins and the little florals on there. The one at Kirkland's that I saw was like $70 or something, and I made this for less than $5, so I think it turned out pretty good. This is another really quick and easy project here. I have a bunch of these cutting boards. You can see this is from spring of 2022. I bought a bunch of these when they went like 75% off. And I am just going to do a quick little redo of this little charcuterie board mini one. There's a company called Stencils, and they have been kind enough to send these decals to me. I also have a video coming out that will show some of their stencils in there, but these decals were absolutely beautiful, and I love how they work. I've really only worked with Dollar Tree stencils, and man, there is a big difference when you have a step up in a stencil for how well they transfer. It came with that nifty little scraper tool there that I could use. If you feel like you're missing an area, you just push that paper back down, or the carrier paper, and just kind of put a little more pressure and it will come right off of there. But I thought this sunflower was so beautiful, and then I have these cute little beads that I put on here also. I think they turned out so cute. Now, just to seal all of this in so you're not going to have anything rubbing this design off, I'm just going to put some matte Mod Podge on here and just cover it. I leave the back side of this completely natural in case for some reason if I gave this as a gift or sold this, I would want somebody to possibly be able to use the one side of it if they would want. But you could also get like a 2 for DIY out of it. You could do one stencil on this side for one season, flip it over and do another stencil for another season. I think on a cute little shelf in your kitchen, or even as a coaster for a cup, these are so perfect for just a cute little decor touch. And you can just see I just go over with that Mod Podge there. I don't really even care that it gets a little bit on the jute twine because you won't even notice there. But just a light coat, and you go over the entire surface so you have the same sheen all over your project there. Isn't this just the cutest? I love this beautiful design on here. I'm so excited to work with more of their transfers. I was so very impressed, and I just think this turned out beautiful. If you were giving this as a gift, who would you give this to? I'm just curious. Let me know down in the comments.
Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on, or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends.
In the springtime, Dollar Tree had these darling little fence signs here. You can see I've taken the pail off of one of them, but I picked up 3 of them, and I've used one in a project that I just loved, and now it's time to try another one here. At first, I took this, this is just burnt umber acrylic paint to paint on this sign. Now, I'm not sure if I should have put a coat of Mod Podge down, if I should have sanded it, what I should have done to this. But as I was getting this far, and first of all, I was really disappointed with the coverage because I'm used to chalk paint being thick and having such good coverage. But as I was putting this paint on here, look what happens. It starts to come back up. Like every time I would swipe the brush, it would be bringing more paint back up, even though it was completely dry. And as much as I tried to save this, I had a technique I was wanting to try in mind. It just wasn't working. So I eventually gave up, and I just went to use some black chalk paint, which worked out very well. I didn't have a problem with this pulling up any of that acrylic paint, and the coverage was beautiful. I just had to do 1 coat of black paint on this, and then I just used my heat tool to help that dry, just because I'm one of the most impatient crafters out there. But I do love my heat tool, I will say that. Now I'm using a crackle medium. I'll paste all the information about what type this is down in my description box, but I'm just going with a light coat all over this entire fence here, because I'm going to, what this is going to do is I'm going to let it dry completely and then place another layer of paint on top of this, a contrasting color. So I end up doing white. And what's going to happen is that white paint dries, this crackle medium is going to allow that paint to do exactly what it sounds like. It's going to let it crackle and look like it has little cracks and chips in it, like it's aged naturally. So here I'm just taking this white paint and I'm putting this on here. You do want to work fairly quick, and you do not want to go back over an area that you have already painted, because that will disturb that crackle medium and you will not get a good effect. So you can just kind of see how I'm doing this in just little areas that I'm working in. My paint was a little bit thicker, I think, and so I probably could have gotten a little bit better coverage if I had added a little bit of water to it, but it still works out in the end. So you can just kind of see I'm going over that last little bit, and then I kind of remember like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to disturb these areas that already have paint. But look at how good this looks. What happens is it just starts to crackle like that, and it just looks aged, and it's just a fun, different way to distress things. It's fun to play around with different colors too, because that background color will kind of seep through of whatever color you choose to do. Now I'm going to make a pocket sign out of this, and so I am just taking a little piece of fabric here, and I use this for one of my Easter projects, but I thought it's a really good color for a fall, this plaid, so I decided it would be really cute. And I just kind of used the sign as a template to cut it down to the size that I wanted for my pocket. And then I thought it would be really cute to just take all of these little threads off of the edges and fray the edges, so that way it has a little bit more of a rustic look. So that's something that's completely personal preference, but this plaid fabric here frayed perfectly, and I was able to get all of those edges looking very rustic. So you can see how easy it is just to pull those threads right out. I do complete this on all 4 sides, so that way every side will have that fraying on it. And then I'm just putting a little bead of hot glue along the base of this so I can get my base glued down first. In my mind, that was the simplest way to get this started. So I'm just putting that little line of hot glue, and I'm loving my cordless hot glue gun, you guys. So I had a few of you ask what I thought of it, and so far I really do like it. It is nice not being tethered down with cords. I'm still just getting used to getting it put back in and out of its little docking station. Sometimes I feel like that's a little challenging for me, but it just kind of is maybe not as a smooth transition as I want. Anyhow, back to what I'm talking about here. I am just taking this bead of glue, and I put it up both of the sides, and then I left a little space at the top so I could fold this down. I thought that that would look really cute, because once you stick some florals in there, I got thinking like, well, you're not really going to see that frayed part on the top. So I thought it would be fun to fold that down, and that way you will definitely still get that frayed edge. So I'm just taking the glue to do the rest all the way up to the top of the little piece of fabric there. And then this little sign came from Dollar Tree, and I thought this thankful sign was so pretty. I thought it would be so cute pasted, or not pasted, but glued on here. And so I'm just using some hot glue to put on this, and then I will just set that down. Now you could leave it as it was with the fabric, and it would have looked just darling, but I love to kind of plus it and kind of add a little bit more embellishment, and I really thought this thankful sign was just so cute, so I thought it fit really perfectly. And not only that, but now I have that cute galvanized pumpkin for another project if I decide. So now I'm just taking some fall florals, and I'm just taking some little scraps that I have, like pieces that I have cut off that I haven't used in projects, to kind of complete this. And so, but I mean, I would think that just one sprig of florals from Dollar Tree fall would look just fine in there. Like, I thought just this right here looked absolutely darling. I do add quite a bit more to it, but I mean, this is simple, and I mean, it gets the message across, and I think you'd be fine just to stop right here. It just depends on how full you like to make things and what your style is. So I'm just taking, these are like some little wheat or millet type of florals there, and some little fern leaves, and I'm just tucking them in everywhere so I just get a little bit of a variation, and I just thought that looked really cute. Now this is one of those projects that you could put out at the beginning of fall and leave all the way through Thanksgiving, and it would work totally perfect with your decor. Now you could also not put so many, like that sign on the front, the thankful sign, you could have left it blank, and you could change the flowers out for different seasons. So it's up to you what you decide to do, but I love how this turns out. Thank you so much for joining me today for the 5 Under 5 Fall Floral Challenge. You'll have to let me know if I did a good job coming up with some different fall floral DIYs. I always have so much fun. It's a challenge to think of 5 different projects with a certain theme, but once your creative juices gets flowing, it's so fun to see the different projects that we come up with. And so I'm so excited for you to click on that playlist link in my description box so you can see all of the different ways that these other creators have interpreted the Fall Florals Challenge. I think you guys are really going to love what everybody has come up with for you. If you had a favorite project from today, I always love hearing what you guys like best. That way I know the things that resonate with you guys. So definitely let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. I'll see you next time. Happy crafting!
If you like the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.